Hey Eduardo, so I thought the best way to do it was to kind of walk you through the way I do it, and I'll go over the main points. So the first is setting up. So normally what I do is on the right side, I put in, these are all 8mm ports. That's the umbilicus, that's cranial, that's the feet. So what I normally do is my first port is down here. I make a small incision, usually about like a centimeter or two, and I use a various needle to insufflate like you would done laparoscopically. If there's any concern or I'm worried about a lot of adhesions, I put in this little tiny green mini port. I think it's called a gel point right here, and I put the 8mm through that for the robot. So that's the first access. And once I get that in, I put in these other ones. This is an 8mm by the umbilicus, another 8mm here in a mid-clavicular subcostal location. I put in a 10-12 right here, and I always put it here because in case I don't like what the stent looks like or I need to do some adjustments. And I use a 10-12 because if something goes south and I need to put in a stapler, I'm ready to do that. My partner uses a 5mm. Just make sure that if you use a smaller one that your RB1 needle fits through that port very easily, whatever kind you got in your hospital. And I like to put this in, I think it's really helpful, right over the iliac crest as you're looking in, just anterior to the colonic line. You put in an 8mm port. I put a prograsp in here. These two are of course the working ports for the robot. That's the camera port and that's the assistant port. All right, so when I do my suturing, I use an RB1 on a 4.0 Vicryl. You can use what you want, but that handles really well with the robot and tying. As I'm dissecting, usually I found most of them have crossing vessels. What I do is I do the 4.0 Vicryl and I just tie a knot on the top and bottom and I go through and through. And once I get that, it just helps me dissect. As I pull up on this one, it shows me some adhesions. I dissect with the robotic scissors, and I do it the same way the other direction until I get it to the point where I'm ready to dissect it. I use pot scissors. There's a robotic pot scissors, so see if you can get that from make sure you get that for the robot. If you don't have it, I've done it without it, just using the regular scissors, but the pot scissors just feel like they make it a little easier. They don't have any energy, so they'll be cold. So that's what I mean by that. And then the other instruments I use are a fenestrated bipolar. I don't use the Maryland for this, and I just find that more helpful when I'm doing kidney cases with the robot. Regular scissors you also want to have available. I like to use large needle drivers. You'll need 2 of them. And I like it without a cutting blade because I just can never get used to the cutting element that some of the large needle drivers have. So get the ones that have no cutting element on the large needle drivers. Just have your assistant cut with their laparoscopic scissors. As far as putting things together, one thing I've noticed about robotic cases is that there's all these layers that I didn't see when I would do stuff more open. So when you do it, you do your classic spatulation here, open this up, just make them as small as possible so that you have less suturing, your case will go quicker. You're gonna have a stent in, and what I normally do is with the stent coming out of here, I have the assistant grab with their laparoscopic needle driver here, and I kind of unfurl this with 2 large robotic needle drivers and stick it inside. And I usually I put a stay in through here out to in, and then I pass that out to in, I tie that, and then I do the same thing on this side, out to in to out. And after I push it together, I tie those on opposite ends, and then I run one side, the anterior side, and on this one I grab it from the from the back side and turn it around and then do a running the other way, and then I release it so the back side, and it shows it really well. So I do the front side first and then I flip it because this is a stay and that's a stay, and then I run it the other direction, and it actually does a really good job. It makes it much quicker. And I think the key is you want to see the mucosa. It's very easy to get in a layer and think you're in a intramucosal location with this because there's multiple layers to it. So just bear that in mind as you do it. Usually the ureter is easy to see, but the renal pelvis sometimes has so many layers of tissue. That's it. I can't think of anything else. If you have any specific questions, let me know. All right, man. Good luck, and let me know how it goes. Bye-bye.